and welcome to Current Affairs segment. This is where we break down the headlines and keep you plugged into what is happening into our nation and beyond our nation. My name is Haron, and we still say thank you to you for always sticking with us, because we are in the last week of the month of May and we are wrapping it together with you. So don't go away, just stay tuned with us, and if you have any question or thought, you can reach us on our WhatsApp number, that is 0799 200 100, or onto our social media platforms, that is on YouTube and on Facebook at Mizpah TV Kenya. And I'm not alone, I'm with Kabete here, ready to get to help you understand what is happening in our nation. Good morning.
Good morning, Grace.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you. What about you?
I'm fine. Yeah, I thank God for today. But we will help our viewers waelewe mambo yanayoendelea hata kukiwa na baridi. Yes.
Yeah.
You can say hello to the viewers.
A very good morning to your viewers. Thank you so much for creating your time and tuning in for this amazing segment that is the Current Affairs. Kwapa na Grace to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and beyond. So stay tuned.
Yes. Yeah, but before we head on to what is happening, kama kawaida, we are giving them the verse of the day.
Of course.
Yeah, the verse of the day comes from the book of Daniel, chapter 2, verse 21. And it says, he changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. I'll read it again. He changes times and seasons. He deposes kings and raises up others. He gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. Wow.
Wow, what a nice verse.
Yeah, it's a beautiful verse to remind us of the sovereignty of God this morning. That the Lord, you know, David is the writer of Daniel, and he's the one who is praying to the Lord. And he's showing us the sovereignty of God. And when we talk of sovereignty, it means the supreme power and authority of the Lord. That the Lord is able to change times and seasons. Imagine hakuna mtu kwa dunia anaweza change time and season.
Yeah, what a good thing,
it's
right?
Only the Lord. Yeah, you know, it's only the Lord who is able to change. Yani tukiona kuna kwa usiku, kuna kwa asubuhi, jua linatua, jua linarudi, hivyo, it's only the Lord. And anaendelea na kusema he deposes kings and raises up others. It means that he's also leadership and power are under his control. He's the one who is able to know who will rule this wakati ni nani, not just random politically, but also even spiritually and all that. He's the one, because the Lord holds our lives, then anaelewa haya mambo yote ya maisha. So anaendelea na kusema he gives wisdom to the wise and knowledge to the discerning. So true wisdom and understanding comes from the Lord. If you need wisdom and understanding, it is only from the Lord. So this verse is reminding us that this sovereignty of the Lord, who is able to change times and season, deposing kings and bringing others, you know, raising up others. He's the same God who is able to change your story. He's the same God who is able to help you beyond what you can ought be able to do, beyond the human effort. Yes, that's the word of the Lord today.
Yeah, I love the verse. Unaona hiyo part inasema that inasema he deposes kings and raises up others. It means that God has the power. Even in our leadership today, God has the power over that.
Yes.
You know, and as you have said, he's the one who gives us wisdom. So true wisdom comes from God.
Yeah.
You know, so it means that we need to be readers of the word of God, so we can understand what is at the heart of God.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that we can have the wisdom. Thank you so much, Angela, for that. Our viewers, that's the verse of the day. Make sure that you stick with it as you move on with the day today. And now we can head on to what is happening to our nation. Yeah, I have the Daily Nation with me today here. Yes, and the top story today, we start with the Ruto's plea for truce. President reaches out to Gen Zs with half-hearted apology. Jana ilikuwa National Prayer Day. Viongozi wetu walikuwa wamekusanyika wote pamoja. And we see that our President William Ruto was able to apologize to the Gen Zs, TZ, that is Tanzania and Uganda. And the story says President William Ruto yesterday struck a reconciliatory tone, offering rare public apologies to Kenyan's youth and neighboring countries, Tanzania and Uganda, during this year's annual National Prayer Breakfast held in Nairobi. in a gathering steeped in reflection and unity, graced by former NFL star and renowned American motivational speaker Ricky Bolden, who urged national leaders to acknowledge past wounds and rebuild trust, especially with the nation's young generation. President Ruto affirmed his government's commitment to unity, equity, and inclusive progress. Wow, I love how Ricky Bolden is telling the nation, I mean the leaders, about acknowledging their past wounds and rebuilding trust. I hope they will do that and rebuild trust back to the nation, especially for the young generation, because ni kama trust imeharibika kabisa between the leaders and the young generation. Yeah.
And to those who don't understand the reason as to why they're being told to apologize, you know, that is in May 2024, the Kenya government introduced that is the finance bill 2024, aiming to raise approximately ilikuwa that is 346 billion to address the national debt that we have, you know, that is external and internal. So the Gen Z, they were not happy about the tax, the budget itself, and you know that led to the Gen Z protests, you know. And so what happens, you know what happened, many people died. The young people died, you know, and it was not good at all. And that's why the president alikuwa anaambiwa apologize, and actually they gave a we're not sure, okay, this is not we're not so sure, Grace. That is June 25, April June 25, that is 2024. The demonstrations, you know, that is in parliament, so the young people died. That is in Nairobi, and the police responded to learn at least more than 22 deaths happened. More than there are 200 young people were injured. Watu wengi walikufa, still kulikuwa na abductions. A lot of things happened, you know, that led to the bridge between the young people and the government, and the government and also the leaders, as you have said, you know, and that's why he's being told to apologize, you know, by the leader. Actually, niliwatch akipreach and he was saying, you know, you as the leaders, you need to grow up, you know, that is what he said, you know, and apologize to the young people, and the young people are supposed to listen to the leaders.
I hope they will, because he really apologized, and he said to our children, if there has been any misstep on our part, we apologize. We want to build a relationship with you that will make our country great and move us forward, he said at the 22nd national breakfast, that is prayer breakfast. And also let us not forget that he also apologized to the Tanzania, our neighboring countries, that to our neighbors in Tanzania, if we have wronged you in any way, we sincerely apologize. Please forgive us. To our brothers and sisters in Uganda, if we have done anything wrong to you, we ask for your forgiveness. Na aliomba msamaha na asamehewe. I hope the young people and our neighbors pia wame tusamehea as well.
You know, the reason as to why he apologized to Tanzania, it's because you remember kuna drama yenye imekuwa that is since the activists and also the diplomatic tensions zenye zilikuwa when Tanzanian nationals were deported, were reportedly that they were deported back to that is you know, Tanzania, and also ile ya madhakaruo wenye walirudishwa, you know, ileta mambo mingi sana, and that's why he apologized.
And let's pray that the Lord will give us peace between us and our neighbors, and our leaders, and
we can say at least he acknowledged the mistakes and called for unity, you know, and mutual respect. That's a good thing, especially as a leader, right?
It's very good. And but also Dr. Ricky Bolden says that Kenya's youth deserve more than promises, and that is what we've been seeing them saying. Yes, you're telling us this and that, but at least we want to see the actions.
That's true. Even we saw yesterday, the young people, this is what they said. Tumekubali. Tumekubali tujakata. That is what the young people say. Tumekubali. But one thing, actually, what they said, one thing that we won't forget is what the president promised us. You know, the promises. So all that they want, apart from the apology, they want fulfillment of the promises. Which are the promises, Grace? Makazi and everything, especially to comes to employment. Probably that is what the young people, they are saying, that hatuwezi sahau, you know, during the season of campaign, you promise this and that and that. All that we are requesting is the fulfillment of the promises. And that is a good thing. At least tunaona, let's say by the time I don't know, by the time the mwaka inaisha kutakuwa probably the bridge between between
the relationship.
The bridge between that is the government and the Gen Z, at least itaisha. You know, we work as one.
Yeah, and it can be a very good thing when we see the government working together as one with the youth and also the citizens at large.
Yeah, that's a good thing, right? Yeah. And another stories, do you have something there?
Let's head on to how MP faked his abduction. History inanifurahisha. Controversy surrounding the reported abduction of Juja MP George Koimburi. We remember alikuwa anatoka kanisa. Sijui kama ilikuwa full gospel ama ilikuwa kanisa gani on Sunday. Alafu akakujua hapo na gari na watu wasiojulikana kulingana
watu wasiojulikana,
akachukuliwa akapelekwa mahali alafu alipatikana kwa Kiambu ama alipatikana.
Because hata ukiangalia picha kwenye alikuwa amelela Grace, he looks so injured. You even say that he cannot talk. Hata ukiangalia picha za hospitali
anaweza andika tu na watu walikuwa nauliza mbona hangeandika watu wenye walimabduct. But there is a controversy here surrounding the reported abduction of Juja MP George Koimburi intensified on Wednesday after Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja claimed the lawmaker staged his own kidnapping. This came as members of Parliament were denied access to Koimburi at a national hospital. Mr. Kanja said preliminary investigations revealed that the MP conspired with his allies to fake the abduction outside Full Gospel Church in Mogodha, Kiambu County on Sunday. A suspect in custody allegedly confessed to abducting the MP after church and dropping him at a local hotel where he spent the night. Kwa hivyo alienda akalala kwa hoteli. Okay, kulingana na gazeti, the same suspect reportedly picked him up the following morning and left him at a coffee farm in Kiambu
after kulala
usiku vizuri kwa blanket, where he was later found dazed in pain. That is what the story is saying. Na so siji tutasema aje. Why would you fake your own?
Actually, Grace, what one? Okay, nani alikuwa anamchapa? If that is true, you know, if that is true, Grace, because you know, from the narrative that you know out there, they were saying that Koimburi was targeted for political reasons, you know, to intimidate or disrupt his campaigns. You know, that is what they said. That is what people from the opposition and other leaders who supported him, that is what they are saying.
And the DCI, Mohammed Amin, the DCI boss said, we were able to trace all his movements from the time he left church to where he spent the night. So hapo ndo waliweza kuelewa hapa ilikuwa tu faking. And it is good because at least wameweza kujua what happened. Because unaona kama ingekuwa tumeachwa kwa giza tungeelewa. Tungefikiria ni watu wana abduct wengine. But at least tumejua our country bado haiko vibaya sana. Ni mtu anajifikia their own abduction. Yes.
So you itamsaidia je Grace, you know, what was the aim behind abducting himself? Because if that is true.
But
you know, I've told you the opposition leaders and the people who support him, even that is the DCP, because even the DCP mwenye alikuwa anasema that is last week, alikuwa anasema that he was attacked and injured by professionals. That is what the DCP said.
Kuna alikuwa anasema nikongeni hapa.
You know, I really want to Grace, because you know, a real human being, would you do that to yourself?
Imagine,
you know,
unagonga ukisikia uchungu nikogeni hapa ya mwisho.
Because even if you go back, that is magazeti zamani, you know, and last week he was really injured kwa mdomo, even he couldn't talk, Grace, you know.
He was only writing.
But then actually the big question, mbona hakuandika watu wenye walimuumiza?
Kwa sababu wanajua, watu wanajua why.
So,
but that's okay. It should be a lesson to our leaders.
Especially as a leader. I don't know. Because what are the young people supposed to learn from that? You know, a leader himself doing that to himself. You know, and the stories of abductions, this is a different thing. You know, what as a leader?
So they're using that to show us that abduction is normal, or what are they showing us? Because your abduction imekuwa mingi kwa country na watu tension.
They are normalizing it. Can you say that?
Yes, maybe that's the word we can use today.
And even let's say basi probably, we're not sure, political interest, you know, to show that, because, you know, he's not a supporter of the government. You know, get.
Yes.
So, because yesterday tukiangalia Grace, they were saying that probably those when you wanna quite attacked, they are people who are criticizing the government.
Yes.
You know, from this, can you say there are people criticizing the government, stage managing his own attack? You know,
we don't know what to say, but
you know, for our Kenyan citizens who are out there, what are their thoughts about that?
Yeah, na sijui kama atachukuliwa hatua ama kutaenda.
Yeah, especially as a leader, Grace. We don't know atafanywa nini.
Maybe we'll know as we move.
Yeah, we want to hear, probably they will give a report or a statement tujue huyu mtu atafanywa nini. Yeah, being a leader, an MP. Yeah. And watazamaji wenye wanaongozwa na yeye, Grace, mnasemaje? How you feeling about that, you know?
Mliko mmeshtuka your leader is
abducted, you know.
Alafu asubuhi mnaamka hiyo.
Remember that he's stage managed, you know. They should tell us how they are feeling about that, you know. Wakazi wa Juja. Are you feeling about that, you know? Are you surprised or you expected? I don't know.
Imagine ukianza kuogopa your leader is being abducted.
You know, praying for him.
Praying for him. Yeah, but it's well.
She's well. Away from that, you have something else?
Yeah, maybe I can head on to the education sector. Yesterday we saw that at least kwa finance kwa bill yenye iko karibu kukuja wameangaliwa in 4.9 billion shillings wameongezewa. Hapa tunaona pia pay rise for 23,000 promoted teachers. Inasema more than 23,000 teachers whose promotions have been pending following investigations by Parliament are now set for higher job grades and enhanced salaries. A parliamentary committee gave the Teachers Service Commission the green light to process their new packs, but struck off 1,864 tutors from the list of beneficiaries. Tunaona bado serikali inaendelea kuangalia the education sector. Yeah, and some 23,388 teachers whose promotions have been the subject of a scrutiny by Parliament will finally enjoy enhanced salaries after the National Assembly Education Committee gave the Teachers Service Commission the green light to process their promotions. So wamepewa the green light to process their promotions, and that's a good thing for the teachers. Yes. Yeah,
at least wamewaangalia maslahi ya walimu, Grace. You know, they said education is a key sector. Na wasipoangalia that watu wenye watakuwa affected, those are the students.
Yeah. At least jana bado waliongezewa pesa kwa pale kwa finance bill. Yeah, tunasema it's a plus for them.
Those are things to do with their allowances, the hardships, you know. At least that's a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
At least tunasema that for the that is the budget before wapitishe, that is the fiscal year, the 2025-2026. At least you can see the team, they have really listened to what people are saying.
Yeah, because hata pesa za ni za exam na za invigilation tunaona pia zimeangaliwa. Yeah, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. You have something else to do with that?
Education, not really, but maybe head on to the health sector. There's a sad story here that inasema denied an ambulance, baby died 2 hours later. Yeah, it's about James Moirori, the man captured in a viral video on Monday wailing while holding the body of his grandson and blaming health officials for negligence. Is a troubled and angry man. He believes the death could have been avoided. His 10-month-old grandson died at Agatundu North Hospital in Kiambu County. This page is in page 3 of my Daily Nation. Na tunaona picha ya the man, the grandfather wa mtoto hapa ameshikiliwa weeping. Anasema na caption yao inasema that he hasn't slept or eaten. Kin says of man whose grandson died at Kiambu Hospital. Yeah, acha tuone story inasemaje. There is money for our politicians to fly choppers, but there is no medicine in hospitals and the doctors are on strike. God, when will you end the world? We are tired of suffering. Even though Mr. Moirori anasema ni kama mtoto alikufa juu maybe because of lack of medicine in the hospitals. Na pia tumekuwa tukiona ya kwamba the doctors have been striking over some, especially when the medics hata wenye walikuwa wameandikwa kazi from 2020 na wanasema ya kwamba mtoto wa 10-month-old grandson named James Moirori after died Igegania level 4 hospital in Gatundu North, Kiambu County. Yeah, and it's a sad story. Kama ni negligence ilifanya huyo mtoto akufe, it's so bad. Na venye wanasema ya kwamba alinyimwa ambulance, it can be a bad thing.
Yeah, it is.
To the people, to the family. Na wanafaa waangaliwe, sijui watafanyiwa aje, hakuna mtu anaweza rudisha mtoto. But at least the government should talk to the family. I don't know how, but can they do something?
Of course, something can be done, Grace.
Yeah.
Even what were you hospitality, the leadership, the management, Grace.
Yeah. Actually, they're saying, we arrived at his home as villagers took Mr. Mirori to Mangu Dispensary, a Catholic-owned health facility that serves area residents, as the doctor strike enters its second week in Kiambu County. Yeah, actually, we remember yesterday tulisema there are 3 counties zenye zimeaffectiwa na strike ya daktari. Actually, Kiambu County is one of the counties. And hapo ndio huyo mtoto alikufia, one of that county, Kiambu County. We followed him into the dispensary where his family told the medics that since the death of his grandson, Mr. Mirori hasn't slept or eaten. He has been wailing, looks troubled, and is struggling with hallucinations, the family tells the medics. Yeah, it's a sad thing for the family. Na hizo strikes zinafaa kuangaliwa, medics warudi kazi haraka sana, because things to do with health is very, very important in our nation, because losing lives,
especially for a young, that's a kid,
10-month-old, and losing lives, and najua life haiwezi rudi tena.
That's true.
Yeah.
And that's a sad story.
That's a sad story.
And still on the health sector, Grace, the NHIF, that is on standard, the NHIF under scrutiny for 21 billion fraud. That is something that investigation may quickly find. The background itself, for those who don't know, a parliamentary committee has been investigating the National Hospital Insurance Fund over fraud claims amounting to 21 billion. And some of the NHIF officials are accused of the fraud activities, and that's why the parliamentary committee they are tasked to investigate the allegations, kwa sababu unajua ime affect SHA, Grace. That's the reason why SHA pia imekuwa ikistaga for quite some time. That's something that they're supposed to do the investigation, na wajue nani na nani walikuwa involved, so that wajue kama watu watafungwa ama watafanywa nini, Grace. So that even the 21 billion, if it can be recovered, Grace, ipelekwe kwa SHA. Because people are saying they feel like the NHIF haina difference na SHA. Because it feels like mashida yote NHIF ina kwa SHA. And that's why you find that SHA is a new system, but it is still staggering. It's haijapata stability. So if they find that 21 billion, Grace, later kwa SHA, at least we can say it will be functioning well.
Yes. Actually, to add on to the health sector, kuna caption iko hapa that counties threaten to sack striking doctors. Inasema Kiambu and Kakamega counties have resorted to threatening striking doctors with summary dismissal unless they return to work immediately, even as patients continue to suffer. Now, as I had said earlier, Kiambu, Kakamega zilikuwa those counties ambazo zimeaffectiwa na strike of the medics. Sasa counties wanawaambia, baada ya waambia mambo ya kuwapea pesa, wanawaambia that they will sack them kama hawatarudi kazi. A circular from the Kiambu County government, signed by County Secretary John Maingi, gives an ultimatum to the over 300 striking doctors. Can you imagine 300 doctors striking? Ni nani wanaacha kwa mahospitali? In Kakamega, the county has since advertised the doctors' positions, terming them vacant. The doctors have been on strike for the last 4 weeks, while those in Kiambu and Marsabit joined them on Tuesday. The doctors are striking over grievances such as delayed salaries, arbitrary transfers, and punishing work schedules. Those are the grievances zenye madaktari wanalia. And it is so sad when we see the counties wakiwaambia ya kwamba they will sack them, and also advertising the positions, vacant positions for doctors. So that is what is happening in the county level in matters health. Tumesema the Kiambu, Kakamega, those affected in mambo na doctor striking. It is very sad. Wanafaa washughulikie hayo mambo, waache kuwapea the threats.
That you're going to sack those doctors that are striking.
Yes, because you see now there's a child mwenye amekufa in Kiambu because of such negligence. And actually, you know what the doctors are saying in Kiambu? Wanasema that they will only attend to emergency cases. Now how will they know this is emergency and this is not? Because kama huyu mtoto alikufa, this was also an emergency.
Yeah, it's true. Ati they'll only attend. Kwa hivyo mtu mwenye ni mgonjwa, the normal, you know, things like malaria, Grace, homa, yu utashughulikiwa.
Yeah, actually wanasema that Kenya Medical Practitioners, Pharmacists and Dentists Union chairman, that is Abidan Mwachi, told reporters on Monday that doctors in Kiambu will only be attending to emergency cases. Only.
Is there a definition of an emergency case when it comes to the world of health?
They, you know, wanafaa waangalia, they should not threaten them things to do sucking them.
Yeah, and also the government and the Ministry of Health wakae chini wasikilize, Grace, instead of giving them threats that are going to sack you from your positions.
Yes.
You know, wakae chini wasikilize, because we said hata wasipowasikiliza, Grace, wawatoe. Mtu mwenye ataumia, Grace, ni nani? It's a common mwananchi. Utu watendelee kuumia, Grace, you know, because wanahitaji matibabu, na tuliona wengine wanatoka wanaenda the private sectors, which they think that they are very expensive, they can't afford. Naona? So nani anaumia? Ni mwananchi bado.
Mwananchi anaumia kila wakati. Na kwanza hii tunaona ni uko kwa mashinani. Na mashinani, ukiona mashinani watu wakiafektiwa, ina affect the whole country as well. Yes.
So I hope when it comes to the health sector, they put a consideration on that. And now when it comes to politics and government and governance, Grace, I can see here Mount Kenya MPs divided over unity calls. You know, for quite some time tumeona mtu mwenye amekuwa na influence sana, that is the DCP, say it a DCP, the former deputy president Rigathi Gachagua. But it feels like now things are changing pole pole, Grace, because they're saying what has been happening, legislators from Mount Kenya region are split on calls for regional unity. And the funny thing, I don't know if people saw this coming. Some are backing up the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki as a potential leader. You know, did we see this coming? You know, Kenyans, did you see this coming? It's not the person mwenye akona influence sana. That is the former deputy president, you know. And unajua watu wenye wamekuwa involved hapa sana, that is Kithure Kindiki as the Interior Cabinet Secretary and the former Deputy President when it comes to Mount Kenya. And now so it feels like they have different opinions when it comes to unity and leadership, you know. Well, that is a few months walikuwa anasema mtu mwenye akona mamlaka sana, that is the former Deputy President, Grace. But things have changed. Yes. So na hatujafika, that is 2027. We things change over and over again. And you know, the funny thing, things are changing after the party, the former deputy president ametengeneza party yake, the DCP. So we don't know what will happen. You know, we want to hear what the former deputy president have to say about this. You know, is he okay? Ama tuone kama yeye ataanza kufeel threatened. You know,
mambo ya politics ni nipe nikupe.
But I hope still they continue being united, you know, and supporting the government. But at least you can see some of the people from the Mount Kenya region are backing up the government itself, and that's a good thing.
That's a good thing. Yes. And to add on to that, there's something interesting here on matters governance. Inasema petitioners seeking to shorten Ruto's term. Can you imagine there are 3 Kenyans that are seeking to shorten President William Ruto's term by holding the next presidential election in August 2026 instead of 2027. Attorney General Dorcas Oduor has asked the Supreme Court to dismiss a petition filed. There was a petition that was filed by 3 Kenyans who are seeking to shorten President William Ruto's term by holding the next presidential election in August 2026 instead of 2027. Kuna watu wameenda a step ahead kwenda kwa koti. Ndio tumekuwa tukiona one term kila mahali. Na watu wanaongea tu, lakini sasa kuna watu wamechukua boldness na kwenda kwa koti to file a petition. But in a preliminary objection, Ms. Oduor described the case as bad in law and an abuse of the court process, and urged the Apex Court to decline jurisdiction and strike out the petition before it proceeds to a hearing. The objection comes days after former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, an interested party in the case, also filed opposing submissions asking the court to reject the petition. Unasikia hapa at least tumeona broad-based government inafanya kazi. Unaona former Prime Minister Raila Odinga alienda aka reject the hearing, that is the petition, na ni kama imesimamishwa hiyo petition itasikizwa tena. The petition was filed last month by lawyer Dr. Awiso, activist Kelef Khalifa, and lawyer Ashoya Biko. Those are the three people ambayo wali file the petition. They are seeking a constitutional interpretation and a declaration that the next general election must be held in August 2026. Arguing that this would mark 5 years since the August 9, 2022 polls. Yeah, watu upo chini kwa ground, watu mambo ni different.
Yeah. And still to do, you mentioned something to do with the election, Grace, and let's check that is things to do with the IEBC. You know, the High Court has temporarily stopped Parliament from vetting President Ruto's 7 nominees to the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, and this follows after a petition citing a lack of transparency and the selection process. I don't know the people that are involved in this, that is the president himself and the nominated individuals that is for the IEBC, and you know the High Court issued that is order halting the vetting process. And let me mention the people who are shortlisted. That is Anne Amadi, the former chief register. Then kuna Charles Nyachai, we have Brenda, we have Francis Kakai, we have Erastus Edung Ethicon, we have Jacob Ngwele Muvei, we have that is Lorot Ramadan, we have Saul Simiyu, we have Lilian Wanjiku. And out of the 11, these are the people who are shortlisted. That is Peter Wanyande. We have Duncan Ojwang. We have Crispin Owiye. We have Kagwiria Mborogi, and then we have Betty Sungura. So imesimamishwa kwanza because they're saying there is no transparency. Yes.
At least wataweza kuangalia as time moves forward.
So unajua bado Grace, this is another process, Grace. If they feel like these people they don't qualify ama kukuwa na transparency, it means they have to go back again to the selection panel, which might also take time. Unajua the ABC walikuwa wamepatiwa that is 90 days to complete this work. So I don't know, probably it may take time again.
But it may take time.
We're yet to see what they'll say about that. And probably they come to conclusion, because if the process must be repeated again, then the president apatiwe majina Grace, achague tena, ipelekwe tena kwa the National Assembly, then waangalie if that person is qualified, wapitishe. You know, that's another process.
That's another process. Na sijui kama itakula pesa.
But I hope that they make sure that wameharakisha hii maneno, Grace, so that you know, we need people so that the political parties zikuwa registered for 2027.
Na kuna katuni kwa hapa nataka tuichambue na wewe. Inasema abductions we don't know na self abductions we know. Tunaona hapa kuna gari inakuja mbio. Imebeba zinakaa satellite something hivi ama and then wanakaa polisi hawa ama watu wanakaa ama si polisi, ni watu wako abduct hawa.
Like so unaona hapa Grace kuna mwenye amevaa ya polisi. Amevaa ile kofia ya polisi
na iko hadi na logo yao.
Iko na logo na amebeba miti, iko na matawi ya green. Alafu tena hapa mwisho iko na kala yellow. So we really don't know, you know. I want our viewers mtafakari hayo. And so pia hapa kuna wananchi. I think are these strictly Kenyan citizens?
No, these are not really. And I want to leader because akona tie red.
Akona tie red,
shati ya white, blazer black.
No, blazer black. So I don't want to give my views on this,
lakini huyu pia mwenye ako kando anakaa sitaki kumuita mwizi, lakini anakaa criminal or some mtu mwenye ni weird. Akona kofia, unaona akona kofia ya inakaa yellowish.
So we want our viewers to mtafakari hayo, mtuambie from the colors that we have given. We have told you kuna polisi hapa, akona mti kuna matawi ya green, hapa mwisho ni color yellow. Still the same applies for the rest apart from the two. For the two, huyu mwanaume mmoja akona tie ya red na shati ya white. We don't know who is that. Probably you have a clue. Huyo ni nani? Huyo ni nani?
Abductions we don't know.
So for the abductions we don't know. Could that be the Gen Z protest hottest, you know, watu wenye walikuwa abducted, we really don't know,
Yeah.
you know. Hapa it's open for you to give your views. Unajua labda kuna mtu Grace mwenye asha click akajua huyu ni huyu.
Yeah.
And then self abduction that you know. Could it be the story that you just read about the
actually hapo inapungua watu the year abductions we don't know watu ni wangapi 1 2 3 4
hapa hakuna gari na watu na hakuna watu wengi ni watu watatu peke yake mwenye alikuwa na kofia ya yellow anaonekana anaenda ni kama anaenda tu akipungua pole
mwenye alikuwa na tie red anaonekana kichwa peke yake
tie red haionekani tena
you know? Alafu polisi haonekani sasa that's you nimite nani criminal aenda anaonekana mawimu mwenye akona
yeah, so tell us from that the self abduction that you know hiyo ni gani, you know, and the self abduction that you don't know who could be that, you know, what will be great on the comment section. That is on 0799200100. That is our WhatsApp number. It's still on our social media platforms. That is on Facebook and YouTube at Mizpah Tv Kenya #NURU current affairs. Please talk to us.
Ama watuambie pia what they think about the self abduction.
How are they feeling about that?
Yes.
Now, so to the people from that is Juja, watuambie how do they feel? Are they disappointed, you know, from that? You know, their leader stage managing his own abduction.
So thank you so much, Angela, for being with me today as we leo tukumbusha watu la kwamba ni Family Thursday. Watu wanafaa wakae. In the next segment we are having an amazing discussion. What would you say to the viewers as we conclude?
Thank you so much for tuning in for this amazing segment that is the current affairs. We're always here to make sure that you stay updated of what is happening that is in our country and because a lot has been happening. So make sure that from 7 to 8 uko na tune in, you get to share that link with friends, family and everybody, even at work. Tune in and know what is happening. And we welcome them to the Sonship Summit, June from 23rd to 27th. They gather in the presence of God. You know, this is whereby the sons and the fathers will be gathering, you know, get to listen from the fathers, you know. And again, for all itakuwa ya all the leaders, ministers, church leaders, wote they'll be here.
It is an interdenominational summit. So we welcome everyone.
Kwa hivyo wamekaribishwa. It will be happening here at Mizpah Prayer Center. Don't forget, entry ni free.
Very free. Lakini for accommodation or anything or any question, just contact 0727766553. Thank you so much, our viewers, for being part of Current Affairs segment. This segment has been sponsored by Stack Institute and Driving School. The courses they offer, we have cosmetology, ICT, hospitality courses, driving school. They have various branches in Nakuru County, and their main campus is in Njoro Town on the Egerton Njoro Road. You can visit their website on www.stackinstitute.ac.ke and register online to get a 10% off. You can also reach out via their email, that is info@stackinstitute.ac.ke. Don't go away, we are coming back with Family Thursday.